Hi, so today I am going to talk a little about manifestation. Briefly touched on it before in a previous video, but just going to go into it a little deeper today. And as always, tarot is going to be involved and oracle cards. So as always, for my tarot, I'm using the Lightseers deck, my personal favourite. I do normally use a spirit animal oracle deck when I'm working, but when I'm doing this kind of work, I go for the wisdom of the oracle deck. I just feel that works better with this kind of work, okay? So when we're talking about manifestation, there's all different aspects to it. So it's not just as easy as thinking of something that we want, writing it down, imagining we've got it, and then bam, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way, okay? So yeah, obviously we need the thought, we need the intention, but we also need action as well to make things happen. We watch these things now and it's kind of like made out as though it's as easy as just thinking something, and if you think it, it's going to become your reality. So life doesn't really work like that. So if you think of it in more like physical terms rather than like monetary terms, so say I want to have this amazing gym body, and I'm not going to get that just sitting here on the couch and thinking, yeah, I'm going to have that, and then not putting any action in. You've got to then put some work into it to make it happen. Same as thinking, you want this amazing promotion. Somebody ain't just going to come knocking on your door and offer it to you just because you thought that that's what you want. You've got to put the action in, you've got to do the work, you've got to go for the interview. You're not going to get it just by thinking of it. So we need to put the practical into the energetical as well, okay? So I love to use the image of the tarot as well, just to kind of boost you along, because I need visual prompts. Just words alone don't help. So again, it's all this, having all these little different aspects just all linking in together. So having your specific journal for this, like having a different journal for different things, I think is great. So having just like a specific manifestation journal, fabulous. Write things down and be as detailed as you can with what you want. If you're too vague, then the universe doesn't really know what it's working with. And then I like this visual aspect of it as well, using the cards, and whether or not you want to pin the physical cards up on a vision board, if you want to take a picture of them, print it out and put that picture on, that is entirely up to you how you want to do it. That's the way I prefer to work, because I don't want to be using my physical cards and pinning them up. But if you want to buy a spare deck and do that with, that's absolutely brilliant. So it is important as well when you're using the image of the tarot to kind of work with images that speak to you. So I've picked cards out for me that I personally like and would appeal to me. These might not appeal to you, so don't just go off what I say. Again, it depending on what deck you use, the images are going to look very different. So it needs to be imagery that connects to you and kind of like lights you up and makes you want to go for it. So I will add another thing as well when we're doing any kind of manifestation work. It's a good shout is to keep quiet. So we tend to have this thing of like, we like to overshare everything. So when we get this idea and we want to do something, we feel like we have to go around telling everybody. And I kind of like, no, sometimes don't do that, because what can happen? So you have this amazing idea in your head of what you want to do, and then you go out and you go and tell somebody, and then they start like raining down on it and like, why do you want to do that? No, I don't think that's going to work. And then before you know it, you start feeling deflated, you're doubting yourself, and then you're like pouring it on the back burner then, because you've allowed somebody else's opinion to affect how you feel about it. And sometimes people do have well-meaning intentions, other times they don't. You might be telling them something and that can spark something in them that makes them feel resentful, it can make them feel jealous. So they're kind of like trying to piss on your parade basically, by knocking it down, and then you go down that trap and start thinking that this is never going to work. So sometimes silence is your best friend until you're actually getting somewhere. Unless it's somebody that you can, you know, really trust and you know that they've genuinely got your best intentions at heart, then just be careful who you're sharing things with, because not everybody will do, okay? So, some of the cards that I'm going to show you. And again, like I say, you know, these images, they might not resonate with you, and it all depends on what you want to manifest as well, because we're all going to have different things, okay? So, the card I love is the Page of Swords, because I just look at this and it's just like, you know, the light bulbs are like these lovely ideas, and she's treading across that sword like it's a little tightrope, and then we've got the little birds, you know, reflecting of the ideas floating around. And I think it's just that nice little reminder of just going into that, you know, that innocence of like your thoughts, your beliefs, and actually, you know, trusting in them as well. So I think that's always like a nice little card. And then another one that I like for it is the Knight of Wands. I mean, this girl is just absolutely like so confident, so happy. It literally looks as though that wand is just like a flame lighting from a finger, and it's like, you know, all this fiery power. She's just beating her own drum there, and she is just somebody who is just like really joyful with her creativity. And then I love the Magician, because again, the Magician, this is all about that, you know, it's the divine masculine energy, but then it's also that belief in yourself that this magic resides within, and literally everything that we need, we have, you know, we're made up of all the elements. It's about getting everything flowing and just creating this magic at your fingertips. And then we have the Star card, and again, this image on this is just beautiful. It's just so full of hope, and it's kind of like, you know, looking up to the heavens, up into space, just literally just kind of like trusting in the universe. For me, when I look at that card as manifesting, and it's just like, you know, having that hope in your dreams. And then the Queen of Pentacles. So Pentacles are traditionally associated with the finances because they're in the element of earth, and I just feel like the Queen of Pentacles, she is just so self-assured and she's confident. This woman has got where she wants to be, and she is literally now just like reeling her wealth. She is where she needs to be. And then the Page of Cups. I just love this one, just because it kind of like reminds me just to go with any crazy madcap ideas that you might have, letting your thoughts run away with you. And sometimes it might not make sense, but it's that kind of like, you know, just going with these wild ideas that might not seem to make any sense, but it's all about that, having that belief in yourself and trusting in your thought process. And then we have the Tower. I love the Tower, and I know a lot of people hate it because it's in chaos, destruction, but sometimes to get to where we need to be, we literally need this like tower moment. We need this big shake up. We need the old ways to kind of like collapse, and then we can just like forge on. And I love it in this one because we've got the butterflies, so you know, we've got this transformation. And that little squirrel's there, I don't know if you can see him, but he's kind of like, oh, what the hell is going on here? So yeah, I just love that card. And then with the Oracle cards, this one is very much similar to the Tower, the Regeneration card. And again, we can see, you know, we've had this land that's been destroyed by a volcano. There's all this like lava, but from that something amazing and magical is growing. So again, it's just that little reminder that we need to kind of like push our boundaries and go for a big shake up. And then we have the Here and Now card, and I think sometimes that is just a nice little reminder just to anchor yourself back in the present moment, you know, learning from the past, you know, that's gone, and then the future's there. And it's all good and well looking at the past, looking at the future, but sometimes we just need to sit in this energy that we're at now. And then we've got the Y card. Okay, now you might be thinking, why have you put the Y card in? But for me, looking at that, it's that kind of like, we need to question, why do we want what we want? Why are we doing what we're doing? And the more we keep questioning things, we get to know ourselves on a deeper level, our dreams, our hopes, all our thoughts. So I think it's good to keep questioning ourselves. It keeps things fresher as well. And then sometimes we realise that, you know, the why we originally wanted is changing and developing. And then we have the deep knowing. And again, just love this because that's literally, for me, when I look at this in a manifestation way, is that deep knowing of knowing you and trusting in you, your abilities. And I feel that like nicely links in with the Magician card as well. Again, it's all about that inner magic, that wisdom, and that knowing yourself on a deeper level. So this is a great way, like the imagery, just to use the tarot, just to kind of spur you along. So however you want to work your journey is entirely up to you. These are just kind of like little prompts, but I think we've all kind of like had this culture now of just being told like manifestation is as easy as just imagining something. It's like, oh, if you imagine it, that it's in the present moment and this is going to happen. Like I say, not necessarily like that. You really do need to put the work in. And if you're aiming for something really big straight away, it might not happen because you don't believe in it enough. So this is what people kind of like find as well, that they set this goal and then they're like, it's not happening, this is rubbish, it doesn't work. So then of course it's not going to work because you're vibrating at this energy that you don't believe in it, so it's not going to happen for you. So rather than just aiming for something like massive at first, maybe start manifesting on little smaller things and see how that works. And then when you see this kind of like synchronicity of like of this working, your belief in it then is even more deepened because you've got your proof there then that it works, and then you can start building up to the bigger picture. If you're straight away thinking, right, this is a load of rubbish, but I'll just write it in a journal and I'll just pretend, you know, all the whole fake it to make it thing. If you actually genuinely don't believe in something, it is not going to happen for you. You know, sadly, that's just the way it works. If you're constantly in doubt of it, there's no point even trying to do it. So like I say, if you start small, then you'll probably find that you can build up to the bigger stuff. And again, it just helps you to find out as well where you want to go. You might start finding that you change your mind over time, and again, that's perfectly fine, but just keep working with it, okay? And like I say, the big one is just keeping those lips zipped sometimes. Just allow the universe to help you, to guide you, and allow things to happen at their own pace. Another thing that we find is we become very impatient and we put a time frame on absolutely everything. Time's a very man-made concept, so it's not how the universe vibrates at. So you know, we're like, right, I want this and I want it like within a week, or I want it within a month, and then when it doesn't happen in that time, we're kind of like, oh, this is rubbish, it's not worked, blah blah blah, and then we end up back at that state of like where we're in a low vibe frequency again, and then you know, nothing good ever happens to me, and then we kind of like get stuck in that victim mode again. So yeah, your energy plays a massive part in it. That's like the number one thing. But your action also plays a massive part in it. So don't just think that you can just imagine something and sit back. You're gonna have to put the work into it, okay? If you're not prepared to put the work into it, then newsflash, it's not gonna happen for you. You need to be dedicated, you need to be passionate about what you want and how you're gonna get it. So, you know, there's no point trying to manifest something if you can't be asked putting in the work to it. Top and bottom of it, basically. So I will be again going into this a little bit deeper on another video, but as for now, I would suggest just like using your tarot if you work with it. If you don't, work with different kind of imagery, just see how that is, you know, making like your little vision board, things like that. But it is important to also put the action in as well. So again, we have these things where we'll, you know, we'll go on these little day courses and we create our vision board and we're feeling all like inspired and like, yeah, this is amazing. And then how many of us get home and just like put it in a cupboard, put it in a drawer, and then we forget about it, we never look at it again. Or maybe we do like months down the line and then we're like, oh, well that never happened, did it? But again, if you're not seeing it constantly, if you're not linking those images to your subconscious mind, it's not going to happen. So like I say, those are just like little tips that I use to work with. Again, I'm going to post another video just going in a little bit deeper on it. But like I say, sometimes a good thing is to start small and then work your way up to the big stuff, just to get your flow for it, and again, just so you've got that belief in what's going to happen and that belief in yourself, because that is a massive thing. If you don't believe in you, then how can you expect anyone else to? How can you respect the energies all around you, the vibe of the universe? It's just not, it's not going to work. Okay, so I am going to finish off there now. If you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to drop in the comments and I will get back to you. Okay, so have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you very soon. Okay, so take care and bye bye.